Waves broke against the ship's side. White foam was hugging the rundown planks. Dark clouds were drifting towards us, bringing a tremendous cloud burst with them. Longingly, I looked towards the bay from which we had just escaped. Houses surrounded it like flattened horseshoes. In those ordinary houses were ordinary people living ordinary lives. I don't remember whether I had once been one of them. Always followed my father and his crew on this terrible, plundering and terrorizing adventure. But I longed for the ordinary all the same. A bit of sea foam sprayed in my face and broke my train of thoughts. I had been leaning on the railing, and when I turned around, I could see the crew working hard on the sails, trying to prepare them for the impending storm. Making my way to the cabin, I could feel the wind talking in my hair, making it stand up straight. The door flung open the moment I turned the doorknob, dragging me with it. It took all the strength that I could possibly muster up to close the small wooden door, but the moment it was closed, I could feel a wave of relief flow over me. I tossed my body onto the hammock, like a toy you wouldn't want to play with anymore. My eyes slowly closed, and my thoughts began racing. Everything in my life came up to a mental discussion, but the elephant in the room was clear. The question that always weighed on me: am I complicit in my father's terrorizing? Even though I never did any of the plundering and the menacing myself, I was still living on his boat, eating food paid with stolen money, and friends with the persecutionists. Did that make me complicit? Or just an involuntary assistant? But it didn't matter. Wasn't I still guilty?
A large crash sounded from the ship's rear end, and the once chatting crew suddenly became silent. I quickly sprung off the hammock. I had no idea what had happened, but the crew had never quieted down, let alone letting themselves be silenced by anything or anyone but my father. I slowly made my way to the door. I placed my ear on the oak planks. Not a single human sound. Only the swooshing waves could be heard. I was unsure if I should open the door. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe my father had yelled for the crew to quiet down, but I had been too deep in thought to hear anything. Alas, I couldn't shake the uncomfortable feeling, and something was definitely off. After what felt like ages, I made my mind up. I had to go out and check up on the crew. Maybe I was just paranoid, but that didn't necessarily mean that it was unwarranted.
After a few deep breaths, I slightly tugged at the doorknob, expecting it to swing open, but the wind was suddenly still. I cautiously peered out on the deck, and to my extreme surprise, I saw no one. I quietly snuck out and looked around. I'm not sure whether this was a prank or not, but even if it was, where would they be able to hide so quietly? Hello? I called out cautiously. Dad? Anyone? This isn't funny. My voice began trembling slightly. Please stop with the joke. I really don't think that this is funny. I started to panic. I looked everywhere. Still, not a soul. The boat was completely intact, not even showing signs of having just been in a small storm. A sudden loud splash made me turn around. A large creature rose from the depths of the ocean. It was human-like, with extremely long red hair, unnaturally large green eyes, spotless porcelain white skin, and slightly feminine features. Something was off about the creature. It definitely fell into the uncanny valley. It held a kind of artificial beauty, but there was certainly something off about it. I couldn't put my finger on it, or by being mesmerized by the creature. I still stumbled backwards until my back hit the railing. The tears that had threatened to come out before began bursting from the seams now. I was fully wailing, hoping that this was all a terrible nightmare, and that I would soon wake up to discover that the crew had already made their way through the storm, and that the cook had finished dinner. But I knew better, and when I looked up again, the creature had made its way close to the ship. It suddenly lifted its enormous arm, and with a single of its fingers, It gently wiped away the tears under both of my eyes. A motherly smile dawned on its freakishly perfect lips. "Who are you?" I stammered its way. It simply shook its head, slightly pointing to the ocean. It offered me a finger, and with both of my hands, I grabbed it and shook it. The creature carefully caressed my cheek, and then everything turned black.